Hey everybody, how's it going? This is your life coach, Taming Ward. Thank you and welcome back to this channel where we talk about spiritual awakening, transformation, energy, habits, and overall personal development. So I have done this a few 6 months now, and I definitely help teach my clients to do this as well. And that's about setting reminders in your phone. Now, it's not for everybody. And so, you have to be really particular on what you like to see and what you like to hear whenever you are wanting to have the reminders of transforming from old habits to new habits, from old patterns to new patterns. And so every now and then, I will let my clients know to set reminders for themselves if it's a good fit for them. And so for me, it is a good fit. And so I set daily reminders. And for me to be able to understand, like, okay, I need to breathe. Okay, so I have a reminder of just be present. I have a reminder to breathe. I have a reminder to just live my best life and all that. And those are my daily ones, right? But I have an hourly one, and my hourly one is living consciously. And the reason why I have that every hour is because, as we all know, every hour on the hour can get crazy, right? We can go from like being cloud nine to like something happening. We can go from like high energy, low energy. We can go from, being in a good space from being in a bad space. We can go from being at peace to somebody yelling at us, right? Every hour on the hour. So living consciously for me is all about being able to be mindful of what I'm putting into my body, what energy is mine, what energy I'm sending out. It helps me remind myself that as living consciously, that I also need to keep my ego down and at a level to where I'm still able to control it like a puppet. The reason why I say that is because our ego can get so caught up in our everyday choices and our hourly choices that we don't really realize what's really happening. It's almost like we kind of have a pause or we black out. And let me give you an example. So have you ever been in a situation where, you're having an equal moment and then all of a sudden something happens and then someone says something to you or does something to you that just pisses you off or upsets you, or it's like, no, that's not what I'm doing. Right then in that moment, your ego will come involved and your ego will jump out and say, hey, don't talk to me that like that. Or it will say, hey, that's not how I'm being. Don't perceive me that way. Or you will completely just be combative and fight back, right? And so we have to remember when we're living consciously that, setting that reminder every hour helps us understand that it's not always what we see and what others may be perceiving are going to be two different things. And that's okay. It's how you respond to everything that is the most important part. So in essence, like before, when I would play tennis with my family, I would very much give some pointers, be like, hey, move around more, keep your arms straight, and I'm trying to be helpful, right? But then, my spouse will say, well, look, how you're saying this is so negative that it's not coming in and helping. And the old me, right? The old me who was not living consciously would have been like, look, I'm just trying to help. I'm not trying to. And then I would have taken that in. My ego would have rised above me. I would have reacted instead of responded. And I would react in the sense that not only would it affect me in that moment, but because my ego was damaged, because I allowed my ego to be hurt, it affects me for the rest of the day. Like I would just be in a pissy mood for the rest of the day, right? And so living consciously, I remind myself that, look, it's not about my ego. It's about how I respond to something. So what was so amazing is that I've never really had a moment to where I was able to see the difference or notice the difference until today. Again, we're out playing tennis with my family and I'm still saying the pointers. I'm still doing my thing. And my wife looks at me and says, hey, how you're saying this is extremely negative, right? Now, instead of my ego reacting to it, I remind myself to first breathe for a second. And then I looked at her and I said, look, first off, I'm not trying to come across in that way. I'm just trying to be helpful, but I can see that the way that I am saying it or using it or expressing it is causing an energy shift in you that is negative. And that is not something I want to do. Now, first off, I'm not allowing my energy to be affected by her energy. I'm not allowing her negative energy to come into my space. But at the same time, I'm not allowing my ego to get so out of control that I'm not able to be kind, be loving to both of us, to both me and her. Now, and remember earlier I said, like, sometimes, you know, I would let my ego get so involved that I would, like, literally affect me all day long. All day would just be and I know you've been through it too. I know you can think about moments in your life where you're like, oh yeah, affected me the whole damn day, where you you weren't kind to yourself, you weren't kind to someone else, you just saw everything as spiteful and deceitful and negative. And that's what I'm talking about. So yes, I think it's always great that you can put reminders in your phone to live consciously, if reminders serve you. And if it doesn't, then practice every day some sort of way that whenever those situations come up, that you understand that it's your ego that wants to respond. And so before it gets there, before before that thought comes in, remember, you've got like 5 or 7 seconds to say, okay, no, thank you. No, thank you, ego. No, thank you, thought. This person in front of me is letting me know how they feel. And you have 2 choices to make. You can either let the ego be involved and you can attack, or you can calm your ego, tell it to sit back down and take control of the situation by responding with love and light. And that's what it's all about. And if you do this, every time that pops up, every time your ego wants to take over, every time your ego wants to take control of you, if you do this, if you take that pause, you take that 5 to 7 seconds, and you allow yourself to say, okay, I'm not going to be like this, I'm going to respond this way, then I guarantee you will transform yourself and have a more higher vibrational day, an energetic day. It's almost like this will come over you, right? So I want you guys to try that if you can. And thank you so much for watching. I hope this serves you. And if you like it, hit that 5-star on there. Share this with a friend and just enjoy it today. All right, my loves. Until then, keep loving, keep growing, and keep embracing life boldly.